And when I first heard about warehouse native Martech solutions, it was really exciting from a pricing standpoint, also, as well as like just like connecting and integrating data. And there's a lot of excitement in marketing automation, customer engagement space. But I wanted to ask you about like category versus feature. Like, is warehouse native just a feature? Or is it just like a fundamental rethinking of how we build Martech? Because we're already seeing this today. Like there's a
Yeah.
lot of CDPs who caught up to the composability movement and we're just like, oh shit, instead of copying all that data, let's actually connect to warehouses. And you saw all the CDPs have like warehouse connectors.
Yes.
And so they're kind of like hybrid models now. And you're seeing a lot of customer engagement platforms. One of the sponsors of the podcast is MoEngage, and MoEngage just
Yeah.
recently rolled out warehouse native on their customer engagement platform. And so if you're on Snowflake or you use a data
Yes.
warehouse, you don't have to copy all that data, figure out a
Exactly.
way to like send it to MoEngage. They can sit on top of your data
Yeah.
warehouse there. So what are your thoughts there? Like, is this like a brand new category? We're redefining how we're building Martech, or is it kind of a feature that a lot of tools in the next couple of years are just going to have warehouse connectors?
Yes, it's a great question. Thank you. It's how I see this. From the point of view of the user, the end user, it is not really a new category. They are enabled to do the same type of analytics as they
Right.
would do in the traditional third-party analytics tools. But from point of like the people or the team that builds these like marketing infrastructure,
Hmm.
essentially data infrastructure, for them it's a completely new approach.
Right.
It's a completely new category as well. I have to admit that it's pretty hard to companies to switch to a warehouse data approach. It takes a lot of time. Getting started with one is much easier, obviously.
Hmm.
Especially you mentioned CDPs, and now they are out of the box doing the warehouse ingestion. So if you have that in your organization immediately, connecting to a warehouse native customer engagement software or like an analytics software like ours, it is essentially a couple of minutes only. So it's very easy to get started. To get off of these third-party tools, it's a different challenge. It's
Hmm.
yeah, it's we see struggling in there, but yeah, we see also more and more companies coming out of these older, let's say, like not I won't call them older. It's like the traditional approach.
Right.
Yeah. So just to summarize your question, if you think of the team that builds the system, for them it's a new category. If you think of the end user, it is enabling them to do the same thing. So for them is not I wouldn't even say it's a feature. It's completely transparent. That
Hmm.
should be completely transparent.
Yeah. So what about like the folks in the middle there? So a lot of the marketing technologists aren't the end users. They're not the ones that are going to be using the marketing analytics tools or sending emails in the customer engagement platform. And they're not the data professionals that are building that stuff in the data
Mhm.
warehouse, but they're sitting between both teams and they're the ones translating requirements. And the folks that
Yes.
see this as a brand new category and they're really excited about it, those are the folks that are really technical, but they don't necessarily always get the marketing applications and the use cases. And I feel
Yeah.
like the marketing operations, marketing technology folks are in an interesting spot with this transition to warehouse native because we can do that translation. We can translate why the data folks are excited about this and translate that into like why marketers should care about this because oftentimes the CMO is going to have like an impact on whether we're like moving to a new tool that does warehouse native. Why should the marketers care about warehouse
Yes.
native? So for the marketing ops folks that are sitting in that middle and have that opportunity to like translate those things, why should we care about it? What are the
Yes.
biggest moments of like aha that you've seen
Yes.
folks implement Mitsu that you're just like, this is what I need to tell marketing ops folks about the power of warehouse native?
Yes. Yes. That's a great question. Definitely, there is some aha moment. What we feel from customers, we hear back from customers. The actually coming back to the feature versus category, this is maybe a feature. What I will just describe. So in traditional tools, you might get problems with data accuracy. So meaning that you sent your data there, it's forgotten. Basically, you're unable to fix it. If there was an outage or something, or like you made a mistake with tracking or capturing the data, it's there. It's there. It's done. You're done. You have to annotate the chart. There was an issue.
Yeah.
And what this technology enables is kind of the full control over the data. Essentially, you can model it, you can transform it, you can clean it much better. Plus, if you see a product and marketing analytics chart, let's say a funnel or like a journey chart, it's gonna align with the charts that you see in your BI tools in Power BI Tableau in the all hands meeting, what is presented by, let's say, the CEO in a company. So what we got often is like, finally, this is the moment. Finally, I don't see this huge drop off in the chart because we were missing some data. Now we're creating a data warehouse, and it is basically, we are seeing the same data as what we expect actually. So that's a great value that it brings for, like the marketing folks. So they have this trust. Essentially, the trust is increased in these data tools.
Very cool. I think the like aligning with BI and the rest of the company, like in the all hands meetings, is a really easy one to grasp for marketers. The one that's kind of new to me that you called out there is like owning and controlling that data. So like marketers are very familiar with this issue of just like, oh my god, we got a huge spike in traffic. We're
Yes,
excited, we're pumped, we dig in and figure out, and it's like, oh shit, it was bots,
yes,
bot traffic, like and
exactly.
and like we need to annotate that thing every time we show it. Everyone gets excited. What was that
Yes,
spike all like that? The annotation says it was a bot, and we see this in email land also. There's a lot of like enterprise email clients who will just like mark every email as open, and like you see a huge
yes,
spike in engagement, and it was all fake, and so
yes,
that's really powerful there because like a lot of the times I've gotten those tickets on the marketing ops team from the marketers saying like, okay, it was bot traffic. How do we like fix that? How do we just remove it from the dashboard so it doesn't affect all of our average
exactly,
metrics? Because our average opener right now is completely inflated because of that one little thing. So you're saying because we get to control that data because it's on the warehouse, we can make those tweaks and the annotation isn't static. It actually lives in the data and it doesn't
exactly,
affect like future reports.
exactly. One more thing I would like to highlight here is that the end-to-end traceability of why we see a number on a chart is possible with this type of technology. For example, if we just present the SQL query that we generate. You can copy paste it. Actually, you can copy paste your BI tool
Mhm.
if you want to have it in your in your static dashboards. The same query, you can create the same chart in the BI tool that just the same as what we built or what we show. And this end-to-end traceability is the one that is making it not a black box anymore. It's an open closet. Essentially, you can look into it, how the things work. You can see the joins if we use joins. You can see all the other things that we do in the SQL. And data analysts, like marketing ops people, can review it line by line. And often our customer calls, we do it. We do review line by line the
Mhm.
funnel query. Why things happen? How do we calculate conversion rate? How do we calculate time to convert metrics? All sort of things like that we can like review and talk about it. And they might have like a different opinion about like how to calculate retention, for example. But again, that's a good discussion to have because now we can finally actually talk about this.
One of the prerequisites for doing warehouse native or even thinking about going warehouse native is obviously having a data warehouse in place or a
Yes.
data lake. For a lot of orgs, marketing teams especially, this is still pretty new. Like,
Yep.
but a lot of folks would argue that data warehouses for some companies that are leading in this space, a lot of companies are on the tech side. For a lot of folks, data warehouses are actually old. Like they're not new tech, but they're more excited about the data lake side, the data mesh
Yes.
side, data fabric, semantic layer, real-time data, the platforms. Can you help us like bring clarity to the data management space? I know you're really deep in there. So like what advice would you give to marketers there that are just like waking up to the data warehouse, but we're talking about like what's next already? Like is the data warehouse kind of dated already? What's the difference between a data lake? What are your thoughts there, Stefan?
Oh yeah, that's a good question as well. Like a data warehouse, how I grew up, how I like as a professional, a data warehouse was already a new thing.
Mhm.
Uh, if you imagine like the old ones, actually, I don't even know the names and the brands who were like, before in the years of like 2000 or something like that, those years, there was data warehouses like Oracle maybe had one, and
Mhm.
I don't know honestly. There was like Hadoop. Oh my god, that was like the first data lake trial, I would say, from Google, and I think it was Google, yeah. Anyway, now it's actually now I would say, uh, how I see it, everything is a data lake, kind of. And but we still call them sometimes data warehouse because that's something that you can tell to others and they will understand that's a lot of data there. Um, just a slide note here, like compared to a database, if you tell somebody a database, what's the database? It's like an operational thing. You keep your, like, I don't know, subscriptions there, or like I don't know, some operational stuff about the application that you're building. In a data lake, data warehouse, you collect data and you forget about it. You don't modify it that often. Maybe if you fix the issues, yes, then you modify, but it's most like exact only. For in my head, essentially everything is a data lake. And what's the difference between the data warehouse and the data lake? Data lake, storage of it is completely decoupled from computation.
Hmm.
And what does this enable is that you can collect your data virtually for free into a storage layer. When you want to compute, let's say, a funnel or like a journey chart or something, then you spin up a cluster that will read the data directly from the storage layer, compute the computation, essentially measure like conversion rate, shut down, and show you the result, essentially, or basically show you the result and then shut down.
Hmm.
And this is hugely cost effective because the storage is where you have the biggest problem. Like, you collect all these billions of events monthly, you store them essentially virtually for free, I would say, compared to like how much a classical data warehouse would cost. Like, imagine classical data warehouses would run all the time just to have the ingestion possible. Like when you were ingesting data to a data warehouse originally, you had to have the cluster spinning all the time. So there was a revolution when you had like auto scaling enabled, so you could scale it down and it was only ingestion and was not computation. For high computations, you needed to scale it up, the cluster. But now you basically scale down to zero as the computation, and you just store the data. And essentially you can live, like for example, we have customers that they have billions of rows, but they maybe run a single chart, like single computation once per week. And for them, this really makes sense because like they don't need to pay essentially nothing for the storage and the computation, which is expensive. That is like once a week, and they don't care about it.